My name is Eva. I'm 29 years old, live in Seattle, and work as a systems analyst for a mid-sized cybersecurity firm. Most days, I'm neck-deep in code and client reports. But outside of work, I live a quiet life. At least, I used to. I've been engaged to Michael for nearly a year. He's a senior architect at a firm in downtown Bellevue. Calm, methodical, a man who rarely raises his voice. We met at a tech conference and clicked almost instantly. Our relationship wasn't flashy, but it was steady. Trust was everything to us. I thought that meant something. Until my sister decided to burn it all to the ground. My sister's name is Tessa. She's 2 years younger than me and the golden child in the family. Long lashes, contagious laugh, the kind of person people gravitate toward. She never finished college, but no one seemed to care. She had the it factor, as my mom always said. The same it that made her the center of every conversation. While I built firewalls and wrote security protocols, Tessa built a life on charm and filters. She was always in some kind of spotlight. And me? I was always the backstage crew. I never thought she'd be the one to hurt me the most. It started a week before our engagement party. Michael had gone quiet. His texts were short, polite, but cold. He skipped dinner twice, said work was overwhelming. At first, I believed him. Then came the real blow. He showed up to my apartment one evening, holding his phone like it was radioactive. "I don't know what to say," he muttered. My stomach sank. "What do you mean?" I asked. He turned the screen to me. It was a message. From Tessa. "Michael, I didn't want to be the one to tell you this, but Eva has been texting someone behind your back. I saw the messages. You deserve the truth before it's too late." I blinked at the screen, confused, then angry. "What messages?" I asked. He didn't answer, just said, "I need space to think," and walked out. I stood there in shock, heart pounding. Tessa hadn't said a word to me. She had never brought up anything, because there was nothing to bring up. I hadn't cheated. Not emotionally. Not physically. But she had planted a lie so big. It cracked the foundation of my entire life. I called her. No answer. I sent a message. It was delivered but never read. I sat on the couch, trying to process it all. Why would she do this? Why now, of all times? And then something clicked. Tessa had been oddly curious about Michael lately, asking questions, showing up uninvited when he was around, even offering to help with our engagement party, which she never did for anything else in my life. The signs were all there. I just hadn't seen them. But now I had one question. What was she hiding that made her so desperate? To destroy me first. The next morning, I didn't go to work. I called in sick and sat at my kitchen table, staring into a cup of coffee I never drank. I had barely slept. Every few minutes, I checked my phone. Still no reply from Michael. Still no response from Tessa. By noon, my thoughts stopped spiraling and started sharpening. I wasn't going to beg for explanations. I was going to get answers. So I made a list. First, clear my name. Second, find out why Tessa did this. Third, make sure she never gets to do it again. I opened my laptop and logged into the security dashboard. The system I installed 2 months ago had 24/7 surveillance of the apartment building, including the lobby, the parking garage, and hallway outside my door. When Michael and I decided to move in together after the wedding, I wanted to make sure everything was secure. Tessa had teased me about it. "You really think someone's going to steal your dish towels?" she'd joked. Now I realized she wasn't mocking me. She was nervous. I scrolled through hours of footage from the past week, fast-forwarded through mail deliveries, neighbors walking dogs, door dashes. Then I saw it. Tessa. 2 nights ago. Around 9:20 p.m., hair up in a bun, wearing that oversized gray hoodie I gave her last Christmas. She was standing outside my door, knocking. Michael opened it. He looked surprised. She stepped in. He hesitated, then closed the door behind her. No goodbye hug, no leaving with groceries. She didn't even bring her phone, just walked in, stayed inside for almost 40 minutes. Then left, head down, moving quickly. My hands shook. I rewound it, watched it again, watched her enter, Watched him close the door. Watched her leave. Alone. I knew Michael's schedule. I knew mine. That was the one night I had stayed late at work for a team call with a London client. Tessa knew that. I had told her. She came to my apartment when I wasn't there. Alone. To see my fiancé. And then, 2 days later, she told him I had cheated. I clicked into the hallway footage again. Tessa didn't look like someone just dropping by. She looked guilty, nervous, hunched shoulders, darting eyes. I opened a secure link, clipped the footage, and uploaded it. No edits, no commentary, just facts. Then I drafted a message to Michael. Watch this, all of it. Then decide what you believe. Fiancé. I attached the link. Hit send. I leaned back in my chair, heart pounding, waiting. For 5 minutes. Nothing happened. Then the 3 dots appeared. Typing. And then they stopped. I stared at the screen. No message came. But 10 minutes later, a knock sounded at my door. It was Michael, and his face said it all. He'd watched it. He knew. Now it was my turn to ask the questions. I opened the door slowly. Michael stood there, phone still in his hand. His face was pale, lips parted like he had just been punched. I didn't say a word. I just stepped aside and let him in. He walked past me like a ghost, settling into the edge of the couch like he wasn't sure he belonged in the room. I watched it, he said. His voice was barely above a whisper. I nodded. I figured. He looked up at me, eyes wide with something between guilt and shame. She said you were cheating. I didn't flinch. And I wasn't. He nodded slowly, like each movement was a confession. I see that now. Silence stretched between us. I didn't want apologies. I wanted the truth. Why didn't you tell me she came over? I asked. Michael exhaled. I didn't think it meant anything at the time. She said she was worried about you, that you were stressed, pulling away. He paused. She said you were hiding something. I blinked, stunned at how far she had gone. And you believed her? I didn't want to, he said quickly, but it started adding up. Your late nights, the missed calls, the way you sometimes didn't talk about work. That's because I was under NDA, I snapped. I was working on a secure server migration, Michael. I wasn't texting some secret boyfriend. I know, he murmured. I know now. I folded my arms. And when she told you I was cheating, your first instinct was to ghost me? I didn't ghost you, he said defensively. I said I needed space. That's just a softer way of walking away, I said. You didn't ask. You didn't confront me. You didn't even look me in the eye. You took her word over mine. My sister's word. Michael looked away. I'm sorry. The words hit the air with the weight of a feather. They didn't fix anything. They didn't undo the fact that I had been betrayed by the man I loved, and the sister who knew exactly how to twist the knife. I have one question, I said, voice steady. What happened when she was here that night? He stiffened. I saw it in his jaw. The hesitation. She kissed me. I froze. What? I didn't kiss her back, he added quickly. She leaned in, said you didn't appreciate what you had, that I deserve someone who actually paid attention. I told her to leave. She did. That's it. My hands clenched into fists. Tessa, my own sister. She tried to sabotage our relationship. She tried to replace me. Michael looked up. I didn't see it then. I do now. I messed up, Eva. I should have trusted you. I nodded slowly. You did mess up. But this isn't just about you. I walked to the table and picked up my phone. If Tessa thinks she can blow up my life and walk away untouched. I opened my contacts, found her name, pressed dial. It's time I remind her what happens when you lie to someone who knows where all your secrets are buried. Tessa didn't pick up the first call. Or the second. I didn't leave a voicemail. She'd know I wasn't calling to chat. Michael sat on the edge of the couch, rubbing his temples. She's not going to admit anything. I looked at him calmly. She won't need to. I opened a folder on my laptop labeled Backups. Inside were copies of conversations, screenshots, and videos. Things I never thought I'd need. Things I kept anyway. Tessa had always been reckless with her lies. She assumed charm could cover the cracks. But digital footprints don't lie. I pulled up our old group chat, me, Michael, and Tessa, from 3 months ago. The night we all went out for drinks. Tessa had typed, "Ava, if you ever let this man go, I'm first in line," with a laughing emoji. At the time, I'd rolled my eyes. Now, it looked like a warning. I clicked on her Instagram stories. Most had disappeared. But I knew how to retrieve archived content. Within minutes, I had screen captures of a mystery dinner she posted 2 nights ago. Only one wine glass visible, but the reflection in the window showed a man with a familiar watch. Michael's. I turned my screen toward him. His jaw tightened. I didn't even notice she took a picture. She was documenting it like a trophy, I said. I saved everything to a folder titled Tessa_lies. Then, I did something I hadn't done in years. I texted my mother. "Hi, Mom. Need to talk. About Tessa." It took 30 seconds for her to call. Typical. Tessa was the favorite, but I was the fixer. "Eva, is everything all right? You haven't been responding lately." I kept my voice level. "Everything's fine. I just thought you should know." Tessa tried to kiss Michael, then told him I was cheating. He nearly broke off the engagement because of her. There was a long silence, then a sigh. "Oh, honey, are you sure it wasn't a misunderstanding?" "Of course. Always the benefit of the doubt for her." "No, Mom. I have the video. I have screenshots. I have timestamps." She hesitated again. "Well, you girls have always competed a little, haven't you?" That stung more than it should have. This isn't a game. She tried to ruin my life. Still silence. Then, "I'll talk to her." "You won't need to," I said. "I'm handling it." After I hung up, I turned back to Michael. "We're going to the engagement party." His eyebrows shot up. "It's still happening?" "Oh, it's definitely happening. Tessa planned it, invited all our friends, rented a venue, posted it all over her socials." I smirked. "She wanted a stage. Let's give her one." The day of the engagement party arrived with perfect irony. Sunny skies, birds chirping. The kind of weather meant for celebration. Tessa had chosen a rooftop venue downtown. String lights, a DJ booth, lavender-themed everything. It was supposed to be my night, ours, but she'd turned it into a spectacle for herself. Michael stood beside me in the elevator, silent but steady. He hadn't said much since I told him my plan. But when I asked if he'd come, he didn't hesitate. He owed me that much. The elevator dinged, and the doors slid open to music and laughter. A server offered us champagne flutes. We declined. No need to toast yet. I spotted her immediately. Tessa stood near the bar in a soft lavender dress, laughing with 2 of my college friends like nothing had happened. She hadn't seen me yet. Good. I walked with Michael across the floor, nodding at familiar faces. People smiled. Some congratulated us. Some whispered. Word had clearly spread that something was off. Then she saw me. Tessa's expression faltered for a split second before she plastered on her signature smile. "Eva, I didn't think you were coming." I tilted my head. "Why wouldn't I? It's my engagement party, isn't it?" She laughed a little too hard. "Of course. I just thought you'd be busy." "With what?" I asked, cool and calm. "Cheating?" Her smile twitched. The people around us looked uncomfortable. Michael stepped up beside me. He said nothing. Just stood there, hands in his pockets, eyes locked on her. Tessa fidgeted. "I don't know what he told you, but—" "Oh," I said, cutting her off. "It's not about what he told me. It's about what I saw." I pulled my phone from my clutch, tapped the video, held it up. The hallway footage played. Tessa arriving at my apartment. Tessa entering. Tessa leaving. Timestamps and all. She paled. Then flushed. Her eyes darted around to see who was watching. Half the party was watching. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse. I let the silence speak for itself. When the video ended, I put the phone away. Tessa stammered. It wasn't like that. I was just checking in on him. You seemed distant. So you lied? I asked. To him? To everyone? I took a deep breath. Here's the truth. You came into our home while I was gone. You tried to kiss my fiancé, and when that didn't work, you tried to blow up our relationship. Gasps. Aunt Mira dropped her champagne glass. Tessa opened her mouth to speak, but Michael stepped forward. She's telling the truth. More silence. I looked around the rooftop. The candles, the flowers, the carefully posed decorations. You threw this party to celebrate my destruction, I said. But all you did was hand me the mic. Tessa's lip trembled. The DJ awkwardly lowered the volume. Enjoy the food, I said to the guests. But this celebration's over. And with that, Michael and I turned and walked out, hand in hand, while the room behind us imploded. We didn't speak much in the car. The adrenaline had started to wear off. My hands still trembled, but not from fear. It was something closer to release, like I'd been holding my breath for weeks, and finally let it out. Michael reached over and gently took my hand. I didn't pull away, but I didn't squeeze back either. I needed space to think. When I got home, the first message came in. Mom. Eva, what did you do? Not, are you okay? Not, I'm sorry this happened. Just blame. As always, I didn't reply. Not yet. Then came the texts from people at the party. Old classmates. Friends from work. Even one of Michael's colleagues. I had no idea she was like that. You handled that like a boss. Tessa looked like she was going to melt into the floor. The sympathy felt hollow. Where were these people when she was manipulating everything behind my back? Still, it was better than silence. By morning, the internet had caught up. Tessa's Instagram, normally filled with selfies and filters. Fox was oddly quiet. No, thank you for coming post. No party recap. Just silence. Until one story popped up. A black screen with white text. Family is supposed to support you, not humiliate you in front of strangers. I laughed. She really thought I was the villain. I took a screenshot. Not out of spite, just habit. Receipts matter. Then came the call I wasn't expecting. From her. I let it ring twice before I answered. Hello? You made me look like a psychopath, she snapped. No, I said calmly. You did that all by yourself. You could have talked to me in private. You lied about me. Tried to steal my fiancé. You don't get privacy after that. She went quiet. Then her voice cracked. Mom's crying. Dad's furious. They're saying I ruined everything. I didn't respond right away. Let the silence weigh heavy. Do you regret it? I asked. I didn't mean for it to go that far, she muttered. I thought he liked me. I wanted someone to see me for once. That hit a nerve, because I knew that feeling. Always being the one in the background, always feeling less than. But I hadn't burned someone else's life down to fix mine. You wanted to be seen, Tessa? Well, now you are. I hung up, not because I was angry, but because I was done. Later that afternoon, Michael brought over takeout. Pad Thai. My favorite. We sat at my kitchen table in silence, eating slowly. Eventually, he looked up. Do you still want this? It wasn't a dramatic question. It was honest. I set down my fork. I don't know yet. He nodded and didn't press. For once, someone gave me space without disappearing. And I realized that healing doesn't start with apologies. It starts with peace and silence. The right kind of silence. 3 days passed. No calls, no messages. The world had finally gone quiet. Tessa didn't post anything. Not a single filtered selfie. Not even a quote about healing. It was the longest social media silence she'd ever kept. I wasn't flattered. Just suspicious. On the fourth morning, a knock came at my door. I looked through the peephole. It was my mother. I opened the door but didn't invite her in. She didn't ask to come inside, just stood there in her thick coat holding a small paper bag. "I brought your favorite, blueberry muffins." I said nothing. She held the bag out, then lowered it slowly when I didn't take it. "We need to talk." I raised an eyebrow. "About the truth, or about saving face?" She winced. "Don't be like that, Eva." I folded my arms. "You came here for her, didn't you?" A pause. A sigh. "She's not doing well. She's locked herself in her apartment, barely eating, won't talk to anyone." "Sounds familiar," I said. "That used to be me. Except nobody came knocking." Mom's mouth opened, then closed. She looked like she aged 10 years in the last 10 minutes. "Tessa made a mistake." "She made a choice," I corrected, "and now she's facing consequences." "I just thought, maybe if you talk to her. You're the big sister. You've always been the strong one." There it was. That same line, that same role, the one where I absorb the damage so no one else has to feel it. I took a deep breath and exhaled slowly. "I'm not your fixer anymore. Not hers. Not yours." She looked genuinely startled, like I'd slapped her. "But family forgives." "Not without accountability," I cut in. "She didn't just betray me. She weaponized your favoritism. She counted on it." My mother's eyes filled with tears. "I didn't know. I didn't see." "No," I said, stepping back. "You didn't want to see. Because seeing me meant admitting you chose wrong." We stood in silence. Then I added, "If Tessa wants to talk, she knows where I live. But if you came here hoping I'd sweep it all under the rug, you wasted the muffins." I closed the door gently, not with anger, just with finality. Behind it, I felt something shift. Like a door had closed inside me, too. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed. A text from Tessa. "I need to talk. Just us. Please." I stared at it for a long time, then typed, "Tomorrow. Noon. At the park bench by the lake." If she wanted forgiveness, she'd have to meet me in the open. No walls, no makeup, no games. And if she didn't show, that would be its own answer. The next day, the sky was overcast. Clouds hung low like they were eavesdropping. I arrived early. Sat on the bench by the lake, hands in my coat pockets, wind brushing against my cheeks like cold questions. At exactly 12:07 p.m., Tessa appeared. No makeup. Hair in a messy ponytail. Oversized hoodie. Not the performative sadness kind. The real kind. The kind that clings when guilt runs out of places to hide. She sat down beside me. Not close. Just near enough. Neither of us spoke for a minute. Then she whispered, "I'm sorry. It wasn't theatrical, wasn't loud, just raw." I didn't respond. I waited. She knew this wasn't going to be easy. "I didn't plan it," she said. "I didn't wake up and say, 'Let me destroy Eva's life.' It just happened." I turned to look at her. Eyes rimmed red. Voice shaking. "But that didn't change what she did. How does it just happen, Tessa? You kissed my fiancé. You told him I cheated. You turned the party into a stage." She nodded, slowly. I know how bad it looks, how bad it is, but I was spiraling." She looked down at her hands. "You've always had everything. The job, the future, the love. And I've always been the one just trying to keep up. Being pretty only gets you so far. People stop clapping when they realize there's nothing behind the curtain." I let her speak. She needed to. "He didn't flirt with me," she said. "I want to be clear. Michael never did anything inappropriate. I convinced myself that maybe he saw me. Maybe I mattered to someone for once." Her voice cracked. "And when he pulled away, when he told me to leave, I panicked. Thought if I told him something about you, something to shake him, He'd come back to me. I felt sick. And not just from what she said, but from the way she said it, like she knew how broken it sounded. Like she hated herself for it. "I know I don't deserve forgiveness," she whispered. I didn't want you to hate me forever." I took a long breath. "I don't hate you, Tessa." She looked up in surprise. "I don't feel anything for you right now. And maybe that's worse. But it's the truth." We sat in silence again. The wind picked up. Leaves skittered across the path. Finally, I said, "If you're serious about making things right, then start by telling Mom and Dad the truth. Tell them everything, without excuses." Tessa nodded slowly. "I will." "Then we'll see," I said, standing. "If you want to rebuild something with me, you start at the foundation, and you don't get to cut corners this time." I walked away, didn't look back. Not because I was punishing her, but because moving forward meant facing the future, not the damage behind me. A week passed. No drama, no surprises, just a quiet kind of emptiness. The kind that lingers after the storm has passed, and all that's left are broken branches and a damp stillness. Michael and I had space. Not the silent kind that comes from anger, but the intentional kind, the kind that leaves room for healing. I worked, I read. I walked to the park without checking my phone every 5 minutes. And for once, my life felt mine again. Then, on Sunday morning, a letter arrived. Not an email, not a text. An actual, handwritten letter, folded neatly, unmarked envelope, my name in cursive. I knew the handwriting. Tessa. I sat at my kitchen table and opened it slowly. Eva. I didn't want to send this as a message. You've had enough of my words thrown around carelessly. So I thought maybe writing would help me say things clearly. I told Mom and Dad everything. The whole truth. No softening, no skipping. I told them I lied about you cheating. I told them I kissed Michael. I told them I was jealous, that I saw your life and wanted it without doing the work to deserve it. Mom cried. Dad didn't say a word. I think they finally realized the damage they helped cause. How they made me feel entitled to anything. And made you feel like you had to earn every drop of respect. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm not even asking you to talk to me. I just want you to know I'm not running anymore. I've started therapy. I've deleted my socials, maybe permanently. I need to figure out who I am without the likes and the filters. You were right that day at the lake. I cut corners, I built lies, and expected no one to notice. But you did. And instead of screaming, you handed me my own mask and made me look in the mirror. Thank you for that. Even if you never speak to me again, know that I'm working on being someone who deserves your silence. Tessa. I read the letter 3 times. Not because I didn't believe it, but because part of me couldn't believe she'd finally seen it. The truth. The weight. The consequences. I didn't cry. I didn't smile. I just folded the letter neatly and placed it in a drawer. Some things don't need a reply right away. Some apologies are only real when they don't come with demands. Later that night, I called Michael. We talked for an hour, laughed a little, paused a lot. When he asked how I felt, I said the first honest thing I'd said in weeks. I feel like myself again. 2 weeks later, I stood in front of the mirror. Same apartment, same quiet morning light. But something about me had changed. The dark circles under my eyes were gone. My spine felt straighter. My face looked calm. Not healed, not whole, but real. And real was enough. Michael came over that afternoon. We sat on the balcony, sipping coffee. It was the first time in a while we didn't have to talk about anything. We just existed. Eventually, he set his mug down. Eva, he said gently, I've been thinking. About us. About what we've been through. I nodded. So had I. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a small envelope. Not a ring box. Not a gift. Just an envelope. He handed it to me. Inside was a letter. Just like the one Tessa had sent. I almost lost you because I didn't trust you. That's not something I can explain away with flowers or plans. It's something I have to own. I love you. But I also know that love without trust is just a waiting room for heartbreak. If you're still willing. I want to rebuild with you. Not rush to the altar. Not pretend this didn't happen. Just rebuild. From the truth. From respect. From scratch. Michael. I folded the letter and looked up. He was watching me, quietly, hopefully. I'm not sure I'm ready, I said. Not yet. He nodded. I can wait. And I believed him. This time, I believed him. Later that night, I opened my drawer. Tessa's letter sat beside Michael's. 2 different versions of guilt. 2 different kinds of effort. But both real. I took out my phone. Opened a blank message. Hey, Tessa, I got your letter. I don't hate you. I'm still hurt. But I see the work you're trying to do. Take your time. Heal for real. Maybe one day we can meet for coffee. No drama, no masks. Just sisters. Eva. I stared at it for a moment. Then hit send. No fanfare. No immediate reply. Just peace. I stepped onto the balcony, wrapped myself in a blanket, and watched the lights of the city twinkle. Sometimes, the people closest to you are the ones who try hardest to dim your light. But when the dust settles, you learn to glow without needing permission. My sister said I cheated on my fiancé, so I sent him the CCTV footage of her and his. And in the end, the truth didn't just clear my name, it set me free. What do you think about Eva's decision? Was she too harsh? Or was this the only way to truly protect herself? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more heartfelt stories about family.